this isn't just corruption. This isn't even ordinary authoritarianism. This attempt to intimidate our soldiers, to say, no, don't follow the Constitution. You must follow me, Donald Trump, suggests to me that he's planning on giving orders that he knows are illegal. Like, hey, shoot at those Americans. Under Trump's regime, only obedience is legally, even discussing defiance is a crime? Say what? And, essentially that's the message that Donald Trump has been trying to send. You've got 6 members of Congress, 5 of them military veterans, 1 of them a CIA veteran, who have come out and said, the truth, which is that under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is the law for those people who sign up for the military. When you join the military, you basically sign away your constitutional rights and you operate not under the Constitution, although it's still an umbrella. I guess you're still technically under the Constitution, but for example, you voluntarily surrender your free speech rights. You can't just say anything anytime when you're in the military, especially under many circumstances. So anyhow, the UCMJ, the Code for Military Justice, and the U.S. Constitution basically make these things war crimes, or say that there are things that are war crimes, and if soldiers or sailors or airmen or Marines commit those crimes, or are asked to commit those crimes, that they have every right to talk back, that they have every right to say, no, I'm going to resist this order, or I'm going to question this order. And Donald Trump responds to that with his rant about this is seditious behavior punishable by death, verbatim quote. And this is not the American way. This is not what our founders fought and died for. This is not what generations of Americans fought and died for. This is not what my dad volunteered for when he, right straight out of high school, joined the Army so he could go fight in World War II. This is not what we signed up for. And you would think, after all these years, after the My Lai massacre and Lieutenant Calley and all that, and the soldiers actually did follow his orders and they slaughtered the people in that village and paid the price for it. Well, I'm not sure that any of them individually did, but Lieutenant Calley certainly did. Or the horrors that were committed at Abu Ghraib that the world saw. I realize, again, there were very few people held accountable, and the Trump administration and John Yoo and who's now a federal judge, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name. The 2 lawyers who said, "Oh yeah, this is just fine. You can waterboard people. You can torture people to death." Essentially, were never held accountable. And Dick Cheney, who passed away while we were on vacation, was never held accountable for these war crimes. And George W. Bush was never held accountable for these war crimes. And so what you've got is that this mess of Donald Trump, a mess is not the right word, this violation of basic American principles is just like over the top. I don't know how to say it. By the way, it's also a crime, what Donald Trump did, threatening these 6 members of Congress. They're now getting bomb threats. Alyssa Slotkin got a bomb threat. They're all getting death threats. High blood pressure is no joke. It's actually the #1 risk factor for mortality. Half of all adults have it. That's 1 in 2 of us. Maybe you do, or maybe someone you love does. The good news, you can take control of your blood pressure. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to start your day with 120 Life. I've been drinking 120 Life, and I'll tell you, it's not one of those bitter, chalky health concoctions. It really tastes good. I don't know what I would be doing without my morning blend of real superfruit juices. 120 Life provides visible, measurable changes in blood pressure. I've seen it. Just use a simple monitor at home to track your progress. 120 Life offers a money-back guarantee if your blood pressure does not improve or you're not satisfied. 120 Life is formulated with ingredients shown to help control high blood pressure naturally and is endorsed by thousands of health professionals. Just use the code THOM, T-H-O-M, at checkout at 120life.com. 120 Life offers a risk-free trial with a full refund if you don't see lower numbers in 2 weeks. Go to 120life.com and use the code THOM
to save 20%. There's nothing to lose except your high blood pressure numbers. Go to 120life.com and use that code TOM to save 20% off today. Remember, you must use the code TOM, T-H-O-M, to get this special offer. These statements have not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease.
But U.S. Code 610, 18 U.S. Code 610, makes it a crime for any federal official, including the president, to use their authority to quote, in fact, let me get the exact quote. It shall be unlawful, I'm reading from the law that, in my opinion, Donald Trump just broke, right? This is, like I said, 18 U.S. Code 610. It shall be unlawful for any person to intimidate, threaten, command, or coerce, or attempt to intimidate, threaten, command, or coerce any employee of the federal government, or to engage in or not to engage in or not to engage in any political activity, including but not limited to voting or refusing to vote for any candidate or member, or refusing to make any political contribution, blah, 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 blah. So, here we have this very, this is just crazy. So what do we do about this? Well, I opened my op-ed today by saying that I'm starting to feel a little optimism. And I am. I mean, we've been through, you and I, we have been through a really dark 10 and a half months since Donald Trump was sworn in. We've seen the East Wing of the White House ripped down by bulldozers and backhoes. Thomas Jefferson in 1801 designed the eastern portico of the White House. Donald Trump now wants to tear that out. That's the on the east side of the White House, there's a doorway, and it leads to this, walkway where they eventually built what was called the East Wing. I think Teddy Roosevelt was president around the time that was built. And now Trump is saying he wants to tear off the wall on the east side of the White House so that he can butt his ballroom right up to it. So the Trump ballroom will be bigger than the entire White House, and it won't just be, 50 feet away. It'll just, I mean, this is just crazy. And, we see this mad behavior, and what we're seeing is that Americans are rejecting it. Increasingly, right across the board, Americans are saying, no, I don't want this. So what do we do about this? Well, I'm seeing people standing up. I'm seeing people speaking out. We're seeing people organizing community efforts to report on when ICE is coming into your community. City after city. Small towns across America are doing this. People are pushing back against masked secret police snatching people. U.S. citizens have been snatched. People are being tortured. They've been sent to a torture camp down in El Salvador. I mean, just all of and Donald Trump himself and his two boys have made something like $5 billion since he became president. Basically, none of that money would have come to him if he wasn't the president of the United States. Jimmy Carter almost lost his peanut farm because he put it in a blind trust. Even Richard Nixon put his stuff in the blind trust, although he did take $500,000 in $100 bills in a suitcase or a briefcase in the White House. But this is just. But he was nailed for it, essentially. I mean, that's not specifically what he was impeached for, but it should have been. So this isn't just corruption. This isn't even ordinary authoritarianism. This attempt to intimidate our soldiers, to say, no, don't follow the Constitution. You must follow me, Donald Trump, suggests to me that he's planning on giving orders that he knows are illegal. Like, hey, shoot at those Americans. I mean, we know from General Milley that he's already tried to give that order, and it got pushed back on. And I think we're at a turning point. I think Americans are turning back. This country was built by people who rejected kings. And Trump has declared war on the American way. And I think the only acceptable response is impeachment and prosecution and the unrelenting assertion that no man is above the law, no one in this country, including the president, regardless of what the Supreme Court said. Now, I get it that the political reality is it's going to be a while. Right? Mike Johnson's not going to promote this, and the Republicans in the Senate won't go along with this. But we're just 12 months away from an election that literally could sweep Congress. And I think there's a good chance it will. So now is the time that we need to be, and particularly with the holiday seasons coming up and lots of opportunity to talk to families and friends. And I realize sometimes people are reluctant to talk about politics in these circumstances, but hey, maybe you can slip something in, because we got to wake up as many people as we can. And we've got to make sure that our voting registration is intact. Big stuff is coming. Big changes, I think, are coming. What say you?